Good evening and welcome to News Tonight. I'm Tina Jha. Let's begin with the top stories of the day. On the sidelines of G20 summit, Prime Minister Modi and Argentina President Mauricio Macri hold delegation-level meeting. Stress on stronger bilateral relations. Prime Minister holds talks with German Chancellor Angela Merkel, presidents of France, South Africa and Spain. India adds more muscle to defence arsenal, approves procurement worth 3,000 crore rupees. New weapon purchases include BrahMos supersonic cruise missiles for 2 naval stealth frigates, armoured recovery vehicles for Arjun battle tanks. Eradicating stubble burning, a collective responsibility, says President Ram Nath Kovind. Moots partnerships between agriculture, technology and business to fight climate change, price fluctuations and demand shocks. CBI charge sheets. Former Haryana Chief Minister B.S. Hooda and senior Congress leader Motilal Vora. Case relates to reallotment of plot in Haryana to Associated Journals Limited, the publisher of National Herald newspaper in 2005. And more relief for consumers. Petrol and diesel prices fall for 10th straight day. Petrol price falls over 34 paise per litre across major cities. Diesel sees decline of 37 paise per litre. First, all the news and updates from the G20 summit in Argentina. On the sidelines of the G20 summit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi held several bilateral meetings with world leaders on Saturday. He met President of European Council Donald Tusk and President of European Commission Jean-Claude Juncker at Centro Costa Saligrio in Buenos Aires. Earlier in the day, the Prime Minister held extensive discussions with Argentinian President Mauricio Macri on bilateral ties and cooperation in defense, nuclear energy and agriculture. Both leaders met over a breakfast hosted by Macri in a special gesture to Prime Minister Modi. The Prime Minister also thanked the President for hosting the 2-day G20 summit. Later, Prime Minister Modi also met German Chancellor Angela Merkel in Buenos Aires. Prime Minister Modi shared his views on the need to focus on empowerment of women and ways to boost economic growth in his address at the opening session of the G20 summit in Argentina on Friday. The Prime Minister highlighted India's efforts such as Jan Dhan Yojana, Mudra Yojana and Startup India undertaken by his government to modernize the economy and also promote inclusive growth. The Prime Minister also addressed the second session of the G20 summit on international trade, international financial and tax systems. India presented a 9-point agenda to comprehensively deal with fugitive economic offenders. India called for cooperation in legal processes to be enhanced and streamlined. India also called for joint efforts to form a mechanism that denies entry and safe havens to fugitive economic offenders. India also suggested comprehensive exchange of information between the competent authorities and financial intelligence units. India also advocated setting up of a common platform for sharing experiences and best practices. And it was a coming together of strategic partners at the first ever Japan-America-India trilateral meeting. Prime Minister Modi, US President Donald Trump, and Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe exchanged views on the Indo-Pacific, maritime and connectivity issues at the meet. India underscored its firm commitment to make the Indo-Pacific a region for shared economic growth. Ahead of the meeting, Prime Minister Modi said the partnership between the three countries will play a major role for world peace and prosperity. US President Donald Trump said the ties with India are stronger than ever before.
ये एक बहुत बड़ा अच्छा अवसर है कि लोकतांत्रिक मूल्यों को समर्पित अमेरिका, जापान और भारत तीनों मिलकर के विश्व में शांति, समृद्धि और स्थिरता के संबंध में हम मिलकर के क्या भूमिका अदा कर सकते हैं। मेरे लिए खुशी की बात है कि दोनों देश हमारे स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनर रहे हैं, दोनों मेरे अच्छे मित्र रहे। इन तीनों के साथ हमारा मिलकर के काम करना अपने आप में एक सुहाना अवसर है।
The relationships between our three countries extremely good, extremely strong. I think with India maybe stronger than ever, and with Japan I think stronger than ever. We're doing very well together. We're doing a lot of trade together. We're doing a lot of defense together, a lot of military purchases.
Japan, the US, and India share fundamental values and strategic interests, and I certainly hope to further reinforce our trilateral partnership and to continuing our close cooperation toward realizing a free and open Indo-Pacific. By having three of us working together, will bring more prosperity and more stability in the region as well as globally.
The second Russia-India-China Trilateral Summit, or RIC, was held after a gap of 12 years in Argentina. Prime Minister Modi held the meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping and Russian President Vladimir Putin to deepen engagements with India's valued development partners. A wide range of subjects to further cement friendship between the countries and enhance world peace and stability were also discussed at the meet. The MEA said the meeting was characterized by warmth and positivity.
RIC में हमें 4 पहलुओं पर काम करना चाहिए, जो है क्षेत्रीय और ग्लोबल स्टेबिलिटी, इकोनॉमिक प्रॉस्पेरिटी, पारस्परिक हित के विषयों में एक्सपीरियंस शेयरिंग और नए और उभरते चैलेंजेस के उपायों पर सहयोग। और मैं राष्ट्रपति पुतिन की इस बात से सहमत हूं कि हमने इंटरनेशनल फोरम की किसी भी मीटिंग में जब मिलते हैं तो हमारे इस फोरम का हमने मिलने का एक रेगुलर बना देना चाहिए।
And at the 13th G20 summit in Buenos Aires, host President Argentina's Mauricio Macri indicated that the global challenges require global solutions and the solution is only dialogue. Macri also added that every country has its preferences, values and interests, but we all want one common goal, that is to promote sustainable development.
I would like to invite us all to work together to take advantage of the mechanisms available to us today and to discuss what other mechanisms we may need in order to continue to offer coordinated responses. The way I see it, the solution, as we saw in our retreat, is dialogue, dialogue and dialogue. That is the way of pushing the limits of the possible, on the understanding that each country will have its own preferences, values and interests, but we all do agree on something, that we want to foster sustainable development. And we assume the responsibility of chairing the G20, convinced that we need to make a contribution and that we can make a contribution to international cooperation, to multilateralism and to global governance.
On to some other news, the Defence Ministry approved military procurements worth 3,000 crore rupees on Saturday. The new purchases include supersonic cruise missiles BrahMos for Navy's 2 stealth frigates. India is procuring 2 stealth frigates for $1 billion, and both ships will be equipped with indigenously developed BrahMos missiles. The ministry also approved procurement of armoured recovery vehicles for Indian Army's main battle tank, Arjun. The ARVs are designed and developed by the DRDO and would be manufactured by Defence Public Sector Undertaking, BEML. Both acquisitions were approved by the Defence Acquisition Council, chaired by Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. The council is the ministry's highest decision-making body on procurement. In a major relief to the consumers, petrol and diesel prices continue to decline for the 10th straight day in major cities. Petrol price decreased by over 34 paise per litre across major cities, while diesel saw a decline of 37 paise per litre on Saturday. The decline is due to fall in global crude prices. Crude oil prices have come down by over 30% since it touched its recent peak in the month of October. Petrol prices have been down by about 10 rupees in the past 6 weeks. Petrol now costs 72 rupees 53 paise per litre in Delhi, 78 rupees 9 paise in Mumbai, 73 rupees 9 paise in Bengaluru, 75 rupees 26 paise in Chennai, and 74 rupees 55 paise in Kolkata. On the other hand, diesel is priced at 67 rupees 35 paise in Delhi, 70 rupees 50 paise in Mumbai, 67 rupees 70 paise in Bengaluru, 75 rupees 26 paise in Chennai, and 74 rupees 55 paise in Kolkata. There, fuel prices reached an all-time high on the 4th of October when petrol hit 84 rupees per litre in Delhi and diesel was 75 rupees 45 paise per litre. A day later, on the 5th of October, the Finance Ministry reduced the excise duty and asked state governments to cut sales tax or VAT. The government also instructed state-run oil retailers to bear a loss of 1 rupee on every litre of petrol and diesel sold, bringing down the fuel prices by up to 5 rupees in many states. And for more on that story, we're being joined on News Tonight by Mr. Ganapathi Subramanyam, Chief of Bureau, Pudhiya Talamurai. Sir, thank you for joining us on News Tonight. It's a huge relief for consumers. Falling global crude prices have brought down domestic fuel prices. What, according to you, are the reasons behind the slump? And how long can we expect this relief to continue?
This is due to the twin impact of lower value of the dollar and the fall in international crude prices. International crude prices have been coming down due to fears that the global economy may not grow as fast as it was anticipated earlier. So therefore, that bad news for the global economy is actually turning out to be good news for India, because we import about 84% of our crude oil requirements, and cheaper crude is much better for Indian consumers and the Indian economy. Also, the dollar value against the rupee had peaked. Now, because of the Federal Reserve's decision not to increase interest rates at this moment, and also due to various other factors, the rupee has appreciated considerably against the dollar. So the twin impact of these two has resulted in much needed relief for our consumers. Also, as you mentioned, the central government had cut excise duty by 2 rupees 50 paise per litre of petrol and diesel. However, state governments have not done that uniformly across India. Many state governments like Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, etc. have done. Mostly they are all ruled by the BJP. The non-BJP governments have been reluctant, and that is why the petrol prices and diesel prices are a little higher in those states.
So another question that I want to put to you is more than 30% drop in crude price in less than 2 months. Help us understand why fuel prices have not fallen as much as global crude prices.
Yeah, that is because of the way Indian public sector oil companies like Indian Oil Corporation, HPCL and BPCL decide their everyday price of petrol and diesel. What they do is take a 15-day moving average and accordingly fix the prices of petrol and diesel. So therefore, there is a little lag between the fall in the international prices and the amount of reduction done by the public sector oil companies. Now, prices are decided every day 6 in the morning, the new rates are announced. So you must be seeing that prices are coming down every day, but by a small amount each day. So therefore, but if you see the total impact, now petrol price has almost reduced by 10 rupees a litre from the peak level, and diesel prices by about roughly 8 rupees from the peak level. And this lag will continue, and even though now the international crude prices, the reduction has slowed down, it will continue for some more time in the Indian retail prices of petrol and diesel. So that lag effect is the reason why the 30% is not matched in the domestic prices of petrol and diesel.
So, sir, the government has been wanting to bring petrol prices, in fact, fuel prices under GST so that the tax can be uniform and it can be slashed further, but a number of states had been opposing it. Is there any movement on that front?
Yeah, this is a very important question, Tina ji. See, for quite a long time, the central government has been saying that states should all make up their mind and bring GST to petrol and diesel. That is, now petrol and diesel, after the central excise duty, are taxed by the states by a huge amount. This VAT in some states is 30%, some states it is 24%, etc. That is why, apart from cutting down the excise duty on petrol and diesel by 2 rupees 50 paise per litre, the central government had to request the states to do a matching reduction so that prices come down by at least 5 rupees a litre. However, states are reluctant to do that because a lot of revenue is garnered by them through petrol and diesel sales. They don't want to give up this revenue, and they don't want to give up their discretion also. However, if petrol and diesel are brought under GST, then consumers can expect to get a lot of relief, because now almost 60% are the taxes that we are paying on a litre of petrol. So only 40% is the actual price, 60% that you are paying is taxes. This cannot be eliminated completely, but can be brought down significantly once petrol and diesel are brought under GST. And also over a period of time, GST itself will come down and there will be uniform price across India and also much more relief for the consumers of India.
Certainly. Thank you, sir, for joining us with those details. Moving on in the bulletin, the CBI on Saturday filed a charge sheet against former Haryana Chief Minister Bhupinder Singh Hooda and Congress leader Motilal Vora. The case relates to alleged irregularities in the reallotment of an institutional plot in Panchkula, Haryana, to the Associated Journals Limited, publisher of the National Herald newspaper. The CBI alleged that reallotment of the plot caused a loss of 67 lakh rupees to the exchequer. The agency filed cases against Haryana Chief Minister Hooda, who was also the chairman of the Haryana Urban Development Authority. Motilal Vora, the then chairman of AGL, and the company, they have been charged with criminal conspiracy and provisions of the Prevention of Corruption Act. In the charge sheet, the CBI has alleged that the AJL was allotted a plot of land in Panchkula back in 1982, on which no construction took place till 1992. The charge sheet alleged that then Hooda chairman B.S. Hooda re-allotted the same plot to the AGL at its original rates in 2005 by allegedly violating the norms.
तो चार्जशीट सीबीआई ने फाइल की है, उसका जवाब हम बराबर देंगे। मामला न्यायालय में पेंडिंग है और मेरा मानना है कि अंततः सत्य की जीत होगी।
2005 में हुड्डा साहब की सरकार आई तो जो प्लॉट रिज्यूम हो चुका था 1992 में 82 में जिसकी अलॉटमेंट हुई थी, 2005 में इसको अलॉट दोबारा से रीअलॉट करने की प्रक्रिया शुरू हुई, जिसमें एलआर डिपार्टमेंट जो लीगल बताता है कि ये करने वाला काम है या नहीं करने वाला है, उसने अपनी रिपोर्ट में कहा कि ये नहीं किया जा सकता, इसको दोबारा से ये रीअलॉट कर दिया और साथ में जो इसके पैसे लिए गए वो 1982 में जो प्राइस था उसी पर ये वापस अलॉट कर दिया।
And news now from poll-bound states of Rajasthan and Telangana. Six days to go for voting in Rajasthan and campaigning is on in full swing in the state. BJP President Amit Shah addressed election rallies in Jodhpur and Barmer on Saturday. He said he is certain that his party will return to power under the leadership of Narendra Modi at the centre and Vasundhara Raje in the state. He compared the Congress with an ATM machine, calling it a machine of lies. He said the Saffron Party was a development ATM where problems were resolved once it was brought to notice.
राहुल बाबा भाषण कर रहे थे कि राजस्थान और मध्य प्रदेश में कांग्रेस की सरकार बनेगी। अब भाषण देखते ही मुझे सबसे पहले देखा दिन है या रात है कि ऐसी दोम दकती धूप थी। भैया स्वप्न देखने की किसी को मना ही नहीं है, मगर धूप में स्वप्न देखते हैं क्या? राजस्थान में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार अंगद का पांव है, इसको कोई उखाड़ नहीं सकता, कोई उखाड़ नहीं सकता। आप हमें पूछते हो कि हमने क्या किया राजस्थान के लिए? आप हमारा क्या हिसाब मांगते हो राहुल जी? आपकी चार पीढ़ी ने देश पर शासन किया, आपने क्या करा इसका हिसाब दीजिए।
And after a 2-day-long campaign visit to Telangana, Rahul Gandhi led the Congress campaign in Rajasthan on Saturday. Addressing public rallies in Udaipur, Bhilwara, Chittorgarh and Hanumangarh, the Congress president targeted the centre over the issue of NPAs of banks. Raising the concerns of youth and farmers, Rahul Gandhi said lakhs got unemployed due to centre's policies. He also said women empowerment is the prime requisite for India's development.
राजस्थान के हर युवा के दिल में ये बात है। मोदी जी की ओर देखते हैं, कहते हैं सूट बूट सरकार, कहते हैं किसानों की मदद नहीं की, हमें रोजगार नहीं दिया, 15 लाख की बात की थी वो नहीं किया, तो भरोसा टूट गया है। युवाओं का, किसानों का नरेंद्र मोदी जी और वसुंधरा जी पर भरोसा टूट गया। मगर मैं आपको यह कह दूंगा कि जो भी कांग्रेस का चीफ मिनिस्टर होगा, 24 घंटे में से 18 घंटे वो राजस्थान के युवाओं को रोजगार देने का काम करेगा। मैं आपको यह भी कह दूंगा कि किसान का कर्जा माफ राजस्थान में होगा, चाहे कुछ और हो जाए, किसान का कर्जा माफ 100% होगा।
A delegation of Congress leaders met the Election Commission on Saturday to raise concern over the security of EVMs inside strong rooms and their handling during the counting process in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. They also raised that the alleged deletion of voters in Uttar Pradesh. Congress's Chhattisgarh in charge PL Punia claimed suspicious people with laptops and mobile phones were seen around the strong rooms where EVMs were kept after the voting on the pretext of repairing the CCTVs. The Election Commission has assured it will look into the complaint.
स्ट्रॉन्ग रूम सुरक्षित रहें, इसकी व्यवस्था के लिए हमने सुझाव दिए और चुनाव आयोग ने कहा कि इन पर विचार करेंगे। वहाँ पर देखा गया कि अनाधिकृत रूप से कुछ लोग अलग से स्ट्रॉन्ग रूम के इर्द गिर्द वहाँ सीसीटीवी कैमरा को ठीक करने के बहाने आते हैं, रहते हैं, घंटों लैपटॉप कंप्यूटर को लेके आते हैं, मोबाइल्स को लेके आते हैं, जिसकी परमिशन नहीं है। तो ऐसे जो गतिविधियां हैं उसके ऊपर प्रतिबंध लगना चाहिए।
External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj on Saturday hit out at Congress President Rahul Gandhi for questioning Prime Minister Narendra Modi's understanding on Hinduism. Taking a dig at the Congress president, Swaraj said that she did not know that Rahul Gandhi's knowledge had increased so much that now even the BJP members would have to understand the meaning of being Hindu. Swaraj further said that for years, the Congress party presented Gandhi as a secular leader, but as the polls neared, they realized that Hindus are in majority and that's why they created his new image.
Most fascinating thing for me is that what is the essence of Hinduism? You please study Hinduism. What does the Gita say? That knowledge is with everybody. Knowledge is all around you. Knowledge is with him, knowledge is with him, knowledge is with him, knowledge is हर जीव के पास ज्ञान है। और हमारे प्रधानमंत्री कहते हैं मैं हिंदू हूं, और जो हिंदुइज्म की नींव है उसको नहीं समझते।
रिलीजियस कन्वर्जन होता है तो धर्म का धर्मांतरण तो हो सकता है, लेकिन जाति का अंतरण कभी नहीं होता। पर उन्होंने कहा मैं ब्राह्मण हूं, बहुत अच्छी बात। तो अति उत्साही कांग्रेसी नेता ने कहा कि तेरे अकेले ब्राह्मण कहने से नहीं चलेगा, कहो जनेऊधारी ब्राह्मण है। तो बयान आया वो जनेऊधारी ब्राह्मण है। पर मुझे ये नहीं मालूम था कि जनेऊधारी ब्राह्मण के ज्ञान में इतनी वृद्धि हो गई है कि अब हिंदू होने का मतलब भी हमें उनसे समझना पड़ेगा। भगवान ना करे वो दिन कभी आए कि राहुल गांधी से हमें हिंदू होने का मतलब जानना पड़े।
President Ram Nath Kovind on Saturday praised farmers for their ability to adapt to innovation and risk-taking. He said these traits have helped India become an exporter of key agricultural and allied products. Inaugurating the 13th edition of CII Agrotech India 2018 in Chandigarh, President Kovind outlined several government initiatives to improve the lives of farmers and enhance their income, like irrigation schemes and crop insurance. Raising the issue of pollution due to stubble burning, President Kovind said farmers never shy away from their responsibility to larger society. He said it is up to state governments and other stakeholders to come up with a solution. He expressed confidence that Agrotech India 2018 will promote specific partnerships that will benefit India's farmers.
The farmers of this region are a matter of pride for our country. Progressive farmers of Punjab and Haryana have never shied away from a challenge and a responsibility to larger society. Today we are facing a problem related to disposal of crop residue and of safe and clean removal of husk or stubble. In an extreme form, the burning of such item is leading to pollution that affects even little children. It is for all of us, including the state governments, the skilled and large-hearted farmers, and other stakeholders to come up with a solution. And no doubt, technology will help us find a solution.
And on to some international news now. A powerful earthquake shook southern Alaska today morning. Roads were damaged, traffic disrupted in Anchorage. However, there were no immediate reports of injuries. The 7-magnitude quake struck north of Anchorage, a city of 3 lakh residents, accounting for about 40% of Alaska's population. The quake, followed by numerous aftershocks, produced strong shaking within a 30-mile radius of its epicenter. A tsunami warning was also issued for Cook Inlet, linking Anchorage with the Gulf of Alaska. However, later it was cancelled. Governor Bill Walker said he had issued a disaster declaration and was in direct contact with the White House, which said President Donald Trump was monitoring the situation. Trump assured Alaska's residents that the federal government would spare no expense in responding to Alaska's earthquake. And former US President George H.W. Bush Sr. died at the age of 94. A statement released by his family members said he passed away on Friday evening. The former president was suffering from Parkinson's disease that forced him to use a wheelchair. In recent months, he had been in and out of hospitals as his health declined. President Bush was the 41st US president between 1989 and 1993, after serving 2 terms as vice president to Ronald Reagan. Bush Sr. navigated US through the turbulent fall of the Soviet Union in 1989 and assembled an unprecedented coalition to defeat Iraqi strongman Saddam Hussein 2 years later. George W. Bush called his father a man of the highest character and the best father. US President Donald Trump condoled the passing away and said his example will stir future Americans to pursue a greater cause. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also condoled the passing away of former US President. In a Twitter message, the Prime Minister called him a leading statesman at a critical juncture of world history. He said Bush was passionate about strong Indo-US relations. And that's it from us in this bulletin. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.